Shalom, everyone. Glad to be back. It's been seemed like 2 years, don't it, guys?
Been a minute. It's been a minute.
We've been busy, I guess, promoting the documentary. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's called The Cave of Adullam. It's based on all the work that we're doing in the Cave of Adullam. It follows 4 of our recruits or students that's in the Cave of Adullam, and it's available right now for you to watch on ESPN+. Today we wanted to talk about the rise in gun violence amongst youth, especially in the black community as well. Recently in the news in New York, it was a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old that got gunned down, and another story that was heart-wrenching in Atlanta. A kid was on like the scooter, the things you ride around the city.
Yeah.
And the guys, after killing him, they were caught celebrating on camera.
Wow.
And then the reason we have Josiah here, which typically is Elisha Nunn and Jason II, but we brought Josiah in because recently his cousin was 15 years old, was killed by gun violence, correct? And so today we just wanted to talk about the culture, what is possibly causing this rise in violence. What do we say in the cave about bullets?
Bullets don't tap out.
Bullets don't tap out. And so when we learn we use martial arts to help us deal with what's going on inside, but also to help us to deal with what may come at us physically.
Right.
But we know in our community, if you beat someone down, there's a good chance he may come back with his boys or guns.
It raises the anxiety levels, especially in this era. Mental health for teenagers is like, it's up there. So living in a spot, especially in urban areas where you can lose your life over the smallest mistake, smallest action, even if it's not a mistake, even if you're not wrong in the situation, you could still lose your life over that. It's going to raise the anxiety, and it's damaging a lot of people regarding their mental health. And if it's affecting your mental health, it's affecting you in other areas too. So that's definitely one impact that's having in urban areas for one, especially among youth.
What you think, Jay?
It's definitely like an impact for me because, seeing all these, like my parents, you guys always tell me like how you guys could walk freely outside, have so much more freedom, but it's not like that now because all the gun threats, it's just not safe, and like what Elijah said, that creates anxiety. Like whenever you're out by yourself or with just some friends, you always just got to be aware of that factor. You can't just have fun freely or just have fun joking around. Like you got to be aware of your surroundings, everything, like being aware of what you do so no trouble is caused.
Josiah, how did it feel to get the news of your his brother or your older cousin being murdered and at 15 years of age?
So I was scrolling through Instagram first, and I seen teen shot at hotel party. So it was like normal, okay, this happened. But then my cousin called me, and he said that was our cousin. And I was just like shocked because like first I wasn't really ready to hear that because I'm still grieving over like the past deaths and like other traumatizing like events. And like when I heard that, like it was like how? Like I never like really expected that.
Yeah, in today's culture, guns is seen as something normal, right? It's seen as something like you think about guns. When you have a gun, you literally have the power to take away life, right? This is something serious. It's something extremely serious. Culture has made it something where it's like, oh, it's whatever. You see it in pictures. You see it in rap songs. You see it all over the news. People brag about, oh, I got switches on my gun. It's literally a joke.
What does that mean, switches on the gun?
Usually a switch is where you turn a semi-auto or an auto, and you can turn it to an automatic or
Okay, I get it now. Yeah.
Semi-automatic. So it's a joke at this point. Guns are a joke, right? It's become so normal. That's why you brought up the kids that were celebrating. They celebrating because they don't realize the culture has made it seem like taking somebody's life is just something that's normal or something that's okay. It's desensitized.
Yeah.
It makes it so calm. Not calm. It makes it a joke, something that's not serious.
I mean, that is serious.
Yes, it is serious. But it made it something where it's like, it's cool, like it's okay, and it's not.
Yeah, like people, they literally celebrate, like they brag about how many quote unquote bodies they have.
Right.
Like how many people they shot, how many people they killed, like, and they don't realize what kind of damage they've done to the people around them, their community.
They also
make
it like it's the answer. Like it's the answer to solve a lot of problems. So somebody stepped on your shoes, shoot them.
Right.
Blast
they
them in
don't-
the head.
Yes, and what the culture doesn't show is the sentencing.
No, they don't show that.
You know,
They don't show that.
there's several videos, and I share them here, where guys are literally passing out, fainting, like boom, hitting the ground when they get life sentences for killing someone,
Right.
or 30 years or 20 years. See, when you're not when you're a reactionary male, basically anything that pricks at you or pisses you off, and you just boom, snap and kill someone. What we teach and what's important for every young boy to understand, and grown men, we have to walk around with a an increased capacity for foolishness.
Right.
Because it's always going to be something. Just like you shared in the other video how someone talked about your mom and you hit them. There's grown men who've seen that video, which by the way has 5 million views right now, who said, talk about my mom, I do the same thing. Grown men
Grown man. That's crazy.
who allow words to coerce them to an action that could cost them their life or their family's life or well-being, because if the sole provider is the husband or the man in the home and he gets sentenced to 20 years, what does that do to the family?
The entire family is
Just for some words. And we talk about in movies, when have you seen men reconcile conflict in a movie? It's very rare because it doesn't sell. When the last time you seen grown men in your own families reconcile conflict?
I've never seen.
If there is no other way to resolve conflict, if there's no other way to deal with disrespect, we're going to lose another generation of young men.
Right.
What can we do? What can be done? What would you do?
We have programs like The Cave. So something like The Cave. In The Cave, we're taught emotional control, right? And not emotional suppression, not et cetera, but emotional control. The ability to feel an emotion, the ability to express an emotion, the ability to hold off on an emotion and tap into something, a different emotion. If we can teach people how to express anger in a healthy way, then it doesn't come out in ways like this.
Like programs that talk about like expressing your feelings and everything, like people that's not like actually like willing to sit down and like listen and like be interested in it, they'll just immediately like, oh, I'm not trying to do that. That's like for soft people. Like I'm not like that.
What's deep is that they'll say it's for soft people and that they ain't trying to do that. But I would tell when I talk to young boys, I say, oh, y'all cry. You just cry the wrong way. You cry through having bad grades. You're crying when you get suspended. You're crying when you shoot someone because they just made you upset or just called you a name. So you got to learn how to cry the right way. And so as soon as I hear that, and even, I talked to some of those guys when I was in schools, working with young boys. They would meet me like Nicodemus would meet with Christ, on the low. Because again, like you're saying, they're embarrassed to say, man, if people see me with Mr. Wilson, they know why I'm with him, but they know they need to be with me. Right. And every time I talk to them and allow them to process what they're feeling, what they're grabbing that gun and shooting someone for really isn't the offense that's in front of them. It's all of the suppressed anger, the abandonment, the abuse that they've been feeling their entire young lives. So because, gentlemen, young men, you're holding that anger in, you're holding that hurt and that pain in, the slightest thing you like, nigga, boom, 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 boom. Just recently, a 6-year-old shot a teacher because they were arguing. Yes, shot a teacher. What are you going to say? He's a thug? You can't see. That's when society and culture has to get in the mirror. The era I came along, we branded going to prison as something like honorable. We had a clothing line called State Property, literally, where guys would buy this gear, literally saying you're state property. Wow. We'll march when some form of injustice happened, racial injustice. How many marches have you seen now because of the gun violence recently? Hardly none, right?
They're just telling them to shoot. They tell them.
What you saying now?
They tell them to shoot.
Or they telling them what? You're not really valuable. You're not that important. You see the message on the subconscious level?
Yes.
So for you guys, you thought of changing the culture or, giving young boys the freedom to express themselves more, which is great in different ways. Anything else that could be done? I said for me, I believe social media, we're not using social media enough as a tool.
Right.
And then what about you three? You're in the culture. How dim is your light amongst your friends? And what I mean by that is I had a saying I would call when people was, say they were followers of Christ. I say, are you because he said, let your light shine in such a way that men will see your good works and glorify your Father that's in heaven. Are you three who I think want to see change in your culture? Are you shining your light in such a way where they say, whoa, the way Josiah and Elisha and Jason living, that I like that.
Yeah.
Because trust me, I know these cats, I know guys that work with gang members. They have to protect themselves that way. They have to live in fight or flight mode 24/7 because of their environment.
Right.
If not, they're done. But are you shining a light, or are you a dimmer switch Christian? Meaning you got the light on halfway where they can see a little Yeshua in you, but not a lot of Christ in you. You know what I mean? Not a lot of he has a renewed mind. Something's different about him.
Right.
Like when the Most High was speaking to Moses, the way he got his attention was it was a bush that wouldn't burn up. It was nothing like abnormal about seeing a bush on fire in a desert or in the wilderness, because it was hot. Lack of water, fire, bush burn, right?
Right.
But what did Moses say that made him stop at this bush like, whoa, this is unique? Do you remember?
No.
He said, wow, this bush is on fire.
But it's not burning up.
It's not burning up. It's not being consumed.
Right.
See, as followers of Yah, for those of you listening, Yah is Hebrew for God. Those of us who say we follow him or serve him and are followers of Yeshua or Jesus, we must let our light shine in such a way where we can stop those who are about to shoot someone or get expelled or hit someone for something that isn't even worth that action. They can say, wait a minute, I remember how Jay, he did this, or Elisha, or Josiah, and let me go talk to dog.
Right.
You're in the culture. You just experienced the loss. You're the answer. You can do it. That's why the cave is built for you to speak up. The reason I did this, and I keep telling y'all, I would love to let this go, this podcast, where you guys can run it.
Right.
But what are you doing? Are you a dimmer switch or you an on and off switch? I start with you.
No, I'm not. I don't think I'm a dimmer switch.
Okay.
But I can say that I'm not in a lot of environments where I could really be tested in that area. Most of my life is the cave, right? Mm-hmm. And in the cave, I can definitely say I'm not a dimmer switch. But when we go out into the world, usually I go out, it's kind of like I'm by myself in a way. There's not a lot of people that I hang around. I don't hang around a lot of people. I'm not a part of the culture in a way. So yes, I could say my light shines, but I don't know if it's making an impact on people yet.
That's a good assessment. Let me ask you a question. How useful is a candle in the sunlight?
It's not useful at all.
Not useful at all.
No.
You got it?
Right.
So that's something I want you to think on and process. How can you shine your light in areas that are really in need of light? Because many people are lost without a way.
Right.
They don't see hope. They don't have a way out. They don't think they do because they can't see it.
Right.
But when light shines, darkness flee. That's why the two have nothing in common. If we cut all these lights off, it'd be what? Dark. Darkness can't exist where there's light. You got it?
From it?
Yeah. Go ahead, Jay. Tell me, what do you feel? Do you feel, you're a dimmer switch Christian or on and off, just like you on,
Probably a mixture of both, to be honest. Around the people who know me the best, I'm on. Like, it's hard to be different at my school because it's just like, you know, there's some people that you can show that Christianity to, and some people it's just like, oh my God, like you fake, like no one mess with Christianity like that. And that it's like hard to be a Christian in today's society like that.
Well, can you expound on that? I love to hear that from you or your age group. Why is it difficult to rep Christ in your generation?
It's just so many different people who believe different things. Not like different like religions, even that like the gangs, you know, that stuff. Like it's with a lot of different people's perspectives of different things. Like they don't like church, they don't like the Bible, they don't like reading the Bible. Even at a Christian school, like you don't see many people like that. And it's just like when I'm around my Christian friends, then yeah, I feel their influence, they feel my influence. It's good. But like around others, I will try to, but like I don't feel comfortable like pressing the idea of like being godly or you know, that stuff.
Appreciate your transparency. That's real. That's probably why a lot of people feel that way, Jay, your age. I want to go to Josiah, but real quick, I like what you said. It's, do you guys think it's the Bible, it's church, it's the Most High, it's Yeshua, or is it hypocritical people who say they follow?
Hypocrites.
Probably hypocrites.
Hypocrites for sure.
Hypocrites. So that's a real easy fix. You just got to not be a hypocrite. Right. That happens by them watching you and you being consistent in what you say you believe. But as soon as you do something that's counter that, you say, hey, man, I'm about to pray, man, for this test. But then they catch you cheating. That's a good example. Cheating on a test, or, you know, hey, man, I believe in just treating, you know, young girls with respect. And you laugh when someone calls a young girl a bitch. This actually could be a series on, you know, how to deal with the gun violence. But at the end of the day, Paul says it best. He says, you know, our God is blasphemed amongst the Gentiles or the unbelievers because of us. Period. Many will profess that he is Lord, but by their actions, they deny him. And that's written. So again, those of all the kids who are lost out here, how do they find their way without being able to see someone to show them the way? And that's what I encourage all of you to consider. Don't wait till you old like me. Right now, man, the way technology is, social media, you really can live with a purpose. But you gotta believe. It gotta be real. If not, and I can close on this. It was a group of men during the time of Yeshua. They were trying to be like him and the disciples. And these men were called the sons of Sceva. And they wanted to be like Christ's disciples, the power to cast out demons and spirits, evil spirits. And so they tried to cast out a demon out of a man who was demon possessed. And the demon said, Paul I know, Yeshua I know, but who are you? This demon possessed man beat them naked and they ran. I say that to say it's too many professors, not a professor like someone who teaches, but a person who professes to follow the Most High, but don't really have the power to be like him, to do what he say do, the courage to shine your light in the midst of those environments that may not be Christian. That was hard for me. But I got to the place where I said, enough is enough. You got to make a decision. Either it's going to be a narrow path that leads to life, or it's going to be the broad path as we see that leads to destruction. The guys out there right now with the guns on edge will shoot someone in a heartbeat. They're not in this room. They're not in the cave. They don't have the opportunities you do. You guys will be held accountable for what you do and what you don't do. Ask the Most High to show you your purpose and ask him to show you who he is in such a way that you would serve him. That's how we begin to bring change in our community and transform the culture, not by what we say, but by what we do. That's key. St. Francis said it best: preach the gospel always, and when necessary, use words. All right. We got to go. Josiah got to go to church so he can be the church. He said he's going to play the drums, but that's cool. But I want you to be the church. You got it. You're a special young man. You've been through a lot for a reason. Use it for good. So again, thank you everyone for listening, everyone who's watching. Shalom alaikum.
Alaikum shalom.